6:04, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing. Starting off your Monday morning at 73 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Starting off the unofficial countdown to college football as of today. That's right, SEC Media Days gets underway today. We will be covering that here, although I'm going to tell you right now, our sister station 104.5 ESPN going to be leaning on them a lot during the week as they're all there. They're all there. So, well, minus Ott and Haney. They're back home. But everybody else is over there. So, we'll be leaning on them a lot this week. Right now, I'll give you the full rundown for the show in just a minute. I will tell you that the body cam footage that came out on Friday, we're going to break that down a little bit. As far as the audio is concerned, yes, we're on Facebook Live, courtesy of Lake Urgent Care. Yes, we're on YouTube Live, courtesy of Lake Urgent Care. But we are still primarily the radio first. So, we'll be breaking down audio from the 911 call and body cam footage as the show wears on. Right now, though, top stories and trending. Let's get it.
Number 5.
Looks like we've got a system that might be headed this way. A trough, love that word, trough of low pressure located offshore in the Atlantic coast of northern Florida is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms across portions of Florida, the northwestern Bahamas, and adjacent Atlantic waters. This system is forecast to move westward across Florida during the next day or so and into the northeastern Gulf by late Tuesday. Environmental conditions appear favorable enough to support some gradual development of the system while it moves westward. As it stands right now, the formation or the possibility of formation into a named storm over the next 7 days is at 30%. There's a lot of variables going to be factored in here. That's why they're putting it only 30%, but it is on the board, and should it become a named storm, it will be Dexter.
Number 4.
I mean, if you name a hurricane Dexter, isn't its mission to kill other hurricanes? No, nothing? All right, fine. Family, friends, and longtime church members filled the pews of Family Worship Center in Baton Rouge yesterday to honor Reverend Jimmy Swaggart, the world-renowned televangelist who passed away earlier this month at the age of 90. Attendees traveled from literally all over the world for the memorial.
Number 3.
8th Feliciana Parish Sheriff's Office said they found what they believe are the remains of a 71-year-old woman who was reported missing. According to a statement, searchers found remains several hundred yards from Mary M. Peggy Wilson's house. She had been missing since July 5th at her home on Billy Goat Road. Foul play is not suspected.
Number 2.
Governor Jeff Landry announced Friday he has appointed Michael Hare as executive director of the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority. Hare's replacing Glenn Leday, who moved over to head up DOTD.
Number 1.
After the Baton Rouge Police Department released footage of an officer shooting a man while responding to a call on Washington Avenue, the Baton Rouge NAACP criticized the officer's handling of the situation. On July 5th, officers responded to Washington Avenue at 4 a.m. because a concerned caller said Anthony Persley, 38 years old, was possibly on narcotics and acting violently. Footage showed family concerned about their grandmother in the house with Persley. What's trending, John?
Well, President Donald Trump on Saturday announced he's levying tariffs of 30% against the European Union and Mexico.
Is it wrong that, like, everywhere that they land tariffs, I immediately think of the alcohol repercussions?
Is that where you go?
Why? Because they, Canada was last week, right? And I was like, I don't even drink Crown Royal. But now, you start jacking with my tequila, we got problems. You start getting putting a tax on my Jameson, we got problems.
That's right.
Wait, is Guinness and Harp about to go up by 30%?
Man,
do I need to check into a clinic?
What is? Now's the time. That's the time where it really hits home, right?
Everything else, the Swiss give us chocolate. I don't think about that.
Right.
I'm worried about my whiskey.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, this is it, man. So
30%.
Could we see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Well, in other news, though nothing has been officially or formally agreed on yet, Our Lady of the Lake said they are discussing naming rights for LSU's planned $400 million arena.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Although I don't know what the final outcome is going to be on that. Is it going to be just Our Lady of the Lake, or are they going to broaden out to Franciscan missionaries? Because really, Franciscan missionaries of Our Lady.
Yeah.
narrow it down to the acronym. Our Lady of the Lake, you might narrow it down to OLOL. I don't know. It's everything, no matter what, it ends up having a nickname.
Yeah.
Like the Smoothie King Center is the blender.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
I don't know where you go with the nickname on that for the Our Lady of the Lake Arena.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be one, though. I'm sure there'll be one.
Yo, no, absolutely.
Someone will get creative. But yeah, you're right.
Should we start now taking contributions over in the chat on Facebook Live?
Might not be.
Can we get the glorified crew in on this one?
Might not be a bad idea.
All right.
They may be even a step ahead of us. Who knows? When we check it during break.
I haven't even opened it up yet because it's Monday and I'm late.
Yeah. Well, we've got a shark alligator rules story this morning. Last Thursday, 2 fishermen in Pensacola, Florida, nabbed an 11-foot, 8-inch, 1,000-pound tiger shark.
Tiger shark.
Wow. They're not
tiger. Think about that.
They're
dude.
not
tiger shark. That's not a beach shark.
No.
Tiger shark is deeper water, colder water,
and
deadly. I believe third deadliest shark there is.
Yeah. So there's what, the great white. What's the one after that? I don't know. We'll take. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
But yeah, I mean, that's no joke, man. That's massive.
Yeah. But, so there are times and places to notice sharks, right? Yeah. I never picture a great white in the Gulf, although I know they've seen them there in the past, right?
Yep. Great
white, you think Atlantic and Pacific. Mm-hmm. You know, the big boys play in the big ponds.
That's right.
Right? Tiger shark, same thing. Which, by the way, great white number 1, oceanic white tip number 2. But like, if you told me you spotted a mako off an oil rig south of Louisiana, I don't doubt that for a second.
No,
that's where a mako will hunt. That's where a mako will eat. That's where a mako will chomp on some fish and just zoom around in the water like a torpedo. And it's a beautiful fish. Yeah. But you tell me bull sharks, sand sharks, nurse sharks, hammerheads.
Yeah,
hammerheads around Pensacola, sure,
of course.
Tiger, man. Yeah, and this isn't the first time. I'm not trying to play like this the first. To me that's like 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, the size and scope of this
11-foot, 8-inch. Oof. And that's why we have the shark alligator rule.
That's right.
Just in case you hadn't made your trip to the Redneck Riviera just yet. Oof. Hold on, buckle up.
That's it.
611 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We are due up for a break. Before we take that break, though, got to remind you about the folks over at Vex European. You know where to find them online. VexEuropean.com. Very easy to remember right there. Who needs Vex European? Anyone who drives a European vehicle. Just about every make out there, and within those makes, every model within. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Jaguar. Very important for Jaguar owners right now. As the Jaguar dealership in Baton Rouge closed down a couple weeks ago, you have a new place to take your Jaguar, a better place to take your Jaguar for anything from regular maintenance to major repairs. They've got a master level technician on Jaguars. You'll find them on the backside of Industrialplex, 6265 Benefit Drive. If you want to call them, 225-800-4706, 225-800-4706. They specialize. They have a master level technician for each make of vehicle. Check them out at VexEuropean.com. The Seattle Mariners got themselves a steal last night. 617, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Wasn't quite the plan for Cade Anderson. He was hoping to hear his name go first overall, but he had to wait 2 more picks for that. The Washington Nationals and the Los Angeles Angels both passed on the National College Pitcher of the Year, which set the scene for the Seattle Mariners to grab Cade Anderson with the 3rd overall pick. Seattle's VP of Amateur Scouting, Scott Hunter, says they're thrilled that Anderson made it all the way down to them.
The stuff he's done at LSU, but let alone the SEC, was pretty dominant this year. And when you see kids and you see a lot of SEC players and hitters and pitchers along during the course of the year that are going very high in the draft, to excel and to achieve what he did in just this 1 full year of college baseball is pretty impressive.
Very impressive. I mean, and he did it on the biggest stages in college baseball. He did it in the Southeastern Conference. He did it in Omaha. I mean, you don't get bigger than that as far as the stage is concerned. Most outstanding player of the 2025 College World Series. You don't get bigger than that as far as stages are concerned. 12-1 during his sophomore season, 3.18 ERA, and it was like only 1 or 2 starts that really ballooned that out, or else it would have, if you erase, I believe it was 2 starts, it would have been, sub 2. Led the nation in strikeouts, 180 of them through 118 innings. The left-handed Anderson celebrated the moment with his family in Madisonville.
I'm just super blessed. I mean, I've had so many cherishable memories over the last month or 2, and this is just another one of those things that I'll look back on and just be so grateful for.
So, I guess if there was a knock on Anderson, it would have been his freshman season. But he really accelerated into his sophomore season. And the reason his freshman season was shaky, he was still recovering from Tommy John surgery. You got to rewind the clock back to 2 years ago. He didn't even pitch his senior year of high school. He didn't get to roam the mound of Heap Field at St. Paul's for his senior season. So last year was like a rebuild-it year for his arm or shoulder. And then, freshman year was a rebuild-it year for his arm and shoulder. Sophomore year was where you saw what he's capable of. And just about every mock draft out there said he was going to go number 1 overall. That went to 17-year-old Eli Willits from Oklahoma. Anderson says the only team to visit him in Louisiana was Seattle. Glad he had a great visit with Andy McKay, the general manager. Assistant GM, The assistant GM. Sorry, go ahead.
We had some really good conversations that, funny enough, reminds me a lot of Coach Yeskie in a lot of ways. And a lot of the guys, their mentality through the Mariners remind me of kind of how they go about their business, just like Coach Yeskie did. And I think that we created that bond that put us to a spot where they were able to select me, and just super honored again. I mean, to be selected as a 3rd overall pick still feels like a dream.
I want to stay on time here. It's 6:20. Here's the Fox Business Report. Heading back to the traffic center, we are looking pretty good on our interstates to start off your Monday morning. You are going to find some slowdowns. Well, I shouldn't say slowdowns. Some companionship, if you will, on added volume on I-12 westbound in between Jefferson Highway and the 1012 merge. It's starting to pick up there a little bit. Also, if you back things up to just before Sherwood, you'll find some added volume there. Back it up even further, we're actually looking good around Denham Springs where we normally have volume at this time. I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish looks great. I-10 eastbound coming in from westbound Rouge Parish looks great, as does I-110 and both bridges for that matter. If we step off the interstates real quick, take a look at our surface streets and see what we've got going on. It's really only one accident to report, and it's not going to be in anybody's way. Sheriff's Office reporting about half an hour ago an accident Wax Road at Cloudland Drive. So other than that, we're pretty clean to start off your morning. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Before moving on, the thing about wrapping up with the Cade Anderson talk, a couple of other quick notes. Number one, Eli Willits, the guy who went first, he is a shortstop. Bats both, throws right, so he hits from both sides of the plate. Decent size on him, 6'1", 180. I completely understand going with a position guy. He's the 5th ranked player overall. So it's just, that's what and what, right? What do you need if you're Washington? The second player picked is what I don't understand. His name is Tyler Bremner. And, Cade Anderson is 6'2", 179, 6'2", 180 up in there. Tyler Bremner, 6'2", 190. They're both pitchers. Only difference is Tyler Bremner is a right-hander, which you don't normally see that high up in the draft. Also coming in from UC Santa Barbara. So what Bremner's done, I don't see how it compares. I don't know. And look, full on chance that I'm completely biased because Cade Anderson is an LSU guy. Oh, hell, he went to my high school. So, I'm completely biased. But just righty versus lefty, that high in the draft, that much power behind Anderson. Same frame, same build, all of it. I don't know. Didn't quite make sense to me. So, anywho, that's how the Cade Anderson pick played out. If you're curious, Cade Anderson was not the only LSU Tiger to go in the first 3 rounds. It was a little bit surprising to see how long it took before the next LSU player's name was called. Chase Shores goes in the 2nd round. I know. How many folks had Anthony Ianson pegged to be a first rounder as well? I mean, if you go into the breakdown of where the picks came in, let me pull this back up because I've got the whole draft in front of me. Chase Shores went in the 2nd round to the Angels. Okay, then you've got Anthony Ianson coming in for where'd he go? There's the Boston Red Sox took Anthony Ianson with the 87th overall pick. Ianson was ranked as the 40th best player. I mean, if you're Boston, you just ran out of there with an absolute steal. That is shoplifting if you're Boston. Also coming off the board yesterday, Ethan Fry went in the 3rd round to the Houston Astros. So that's 4 Tigers off the board in the first 3 rounds. A lot of folks surprised that there were no other first rounders. I am surprised. I thought Ianson was going to be a late first round pick. Also a little surprised that Chase Shores went higher than Ianson. There is something to be said for that 3rd digit. When you're Anthony Ianson and you throw mid-90s, that's awesome. But when you're Chase Shores and you can hit 100, 101 whenever you feel like it, that's a completely different story. Hitting that 3rd number is a big deal. So, 4 Tigers off the board thus far. The draft will pick back up a little bit later on today. And, man, who have we not seen go yet? I'm trying to think, just doing this in real time. Daniel Dickinson's got to go soon. So does Bear. Bear Jones got to go soon. I would expect both of their names to come off the board within this 4th round. So We'll check back in on it tomorrow to see who else comes off, who else gets picked. And, of course, we'll be talking LSU Media Days a lot in 8:15 today. Let me give you that rundown that I promised. Guest list doesn't start until 7:15. We got the folks from Our Lady of the Lake on. We're talking vaping for Medical Monday. 8:35, Will Green's hopping on board from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. They got an upcoming event called Workforce Wake Up. I can't wait to dive in on this. I was reading up on it yesterday, and I'm a little bit excited. 8:15, that's where we're talking SEC Media Days. The king of college football, Chuck Oliver. You hear him on our sister station, 104.5, after Moscona's show. So he runs from 6 till 8. Dude talks college football every single day and like nothing else. Like, I don't mean like he talks about it like nothing else. I mean like he doesn't talk about anything else. During basketball season, he's talking college football. During baseball season, he's talking college football. Christmas morning, while the kids are opening presents, he's talking college football. Like, it doesn't matter. He's always talking college football. So, Chuck Oliver, 8:15. And then we're going to wrap up the guest list with Duane Shexnayder. He walked the Appalachian Trail, wrote a book about it. So, we're going to dig in on that. Man, let me do this. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep things on time. Brian's Big Adventure's coming up. What is Brian's Big? I hate referring to myself in the third person, but the title of it's Brian's Big Adventure. My big adventure, my family's big adventure is coming up. About 2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing the RV thing. Decided, well, we were doing a story about an RV trip that went wrong, and I was making jokes about it. And then Jeff Hilliard from Miller's RV gets a hold of me. He says, you need to try this, dude. You need to give this a shot. I was like, okay. So we're connecting with Miller's RV and the Louisiana Travel Association, and we're going to hit the road. Full-on Griswold style, except the Griswolds had the family truckster. I'm going to be in a Winnebago. And the Louisiana Travel Association was super excited about it because they're all about traveling in Louisiana, right? So we've all teamed up, gotten together, and we're going to hit the road. We'll put out a little content there. I'm sure I will be an absolute buffoon when it comes to everything I try to do. I mean, I know how to fish, I know how to grill, but put me in an RV and it's going to be a new element. So that's going to be coming up real soon. And shout out to Miller's RV and the Louisiana Travel Association for hooking that up. I love hooking up with LTA. We'll be at their summit later on this year as well. More on that as it gets closer. Right now, we got news, traffic, weather. We'll start locally, then we'll hit ABC next. Damn it, I got it backwards. Okay, I want to start with a full 911 call. All right, I'll toss to it. But we'll start with the full 911 call. Good morning, Christy. I assume you're in this morning. We got any takers on naming the Our Lady of the Lake Center? Morning, Deborah. Welcome in. Byron says there's something terrifying about the thought of me driving an RV. Why? Why? I'll get to be the big car on the road. There's something terrifying about me being in a Ford Focus. Let's quadruple that size. Do you? Okay. All right. Oh, I bet. I bet. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Plus, those big old conversion vans. Those big old hey kid want some candy vans. Oh no. Yeah. Big old cardboard box on the road. Oh, yeah. No. No, it's the 911 call in real time. And I want you to be able to, after we queue it up, after we play it, I'll give my breakdown, and then we'll go to the NAACP guy first. Both cuts from WBRZ, but after the second cut, I'm gonna want to go back to the beginning of the 911 call. All right. Oh man. I'd love to speak about EMS. What about EMS? Email me, dude. Brian.haldane@guaranteemedia.com. And my feed is doing me the thing where I only get to see the people who are. I know what EMS stands for. What about them? Maybe I'm just delirious. I don't know. That struck me as hilarious. So anyway, it's not showing me the list of people who are watching. So I'm going to assume my wife is watching this morning and say good morning, Christy. Welcome in, sweetheart. Oh. We are in an EMT crisis in Louisiana. Interesting. From a staffing perspective or a funding perspective? Get my notes handy. 637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We are going to have ABC News. You heard a little bit right there, but more extended newscast coming up at the top of the hour. As man, the story's coming in from Jim Ryan in in Texas. They continue to. I mean, we're another week removed, and another weekend removed, and the level of tragedy doesn't seem to subside. Right here in town, though, Friday night. First of all, great night at Pete Goolsby Field. I didn't get to stick around till the end of the game. I had to leave early, but it was Baton Rouge. It was guaranteed media night out at the Baton Rouge Rougarou game. When I left, the Rougarou up 3-1. So if they did not go on to win that ball game, it's not on me. When I left, they were winning. But it was just an overall great night. I love so you get out to the ballpark, and if you get out early enough, it's scorching hot, right? But somewhere like right after 6 p.m., that temperature, I don't know what it is. The sun isn't down yet, but the temperature clearly drops by about 8 to 10 degrees. And it gets very, very nice very, very quickly. And if you're rolling in 6:30, 7 o'clock, you never experience it. But we got out there early to do all, get ready for the guarantee media thing going on. But we got to watch the Rougarou take infield and the Acadiana Cane Cutters take infield. Got to meet and greet everybody who came on out. A big shout out to those who said hello. Matt stopped by. He's always in the chat. Patrick stopped by. He's always in the chat. Both members of the glorified crew, if you will. And there were a handful of others as well. I apologize if we shook hands and didn't exchange names, but that happened a couple times. Had a dozen or so people throw out the first pitch. That was a little bit weird. One of them was a social media influencer who I don't know, so I don't want to talk bad about her. Coach Sid Edwards, President Sid Edwards threw out a first pitch as well. That footage is available at Talk 107.3's Facebook page if you wanted to go check it out. A little post-pitch interview with the mayor president. We had some fun with that. But that was on the fun side. While we were out there at the Pete Goolsby Field, about the same time was when BRPD was releasing the footage of the body cam from an officer-involved shooting that happened back on July 5th. And there was an officer-involved shooting on Washington Avenue that left a man dead. Here is the 911 call from that night.
911, what's the location of the emergency?
Washington Avenue, please hurry up. My cousin, he high on something. He's in the hospital. My grandmother, she's 88 years old. She's on hospice. Please send somebody here.
You said Washington?
Yes, ma'am, Avenue.
Does he have any weapons?
Ma'am, I don't know. All I know is...
All right, hold on a minute. I'm going to let you speak to city police. Don't hang up. Hold on.
Baton Rouge City Police, what is your emergency?
Washington Avenue, my cousin, he's high on something. He's in the house with my grandmother. She's 88 years old. I'm scared to go in the house with him. I'm outside sitting in my broken car. Please send somebody here to get him. Please.
Okay, and you said he's on something and he's in the house with your, how old is she?
88.
Okay. And what is your name, sir?
Please. Oh, I don't know what I'm scared to go in the house.
Okay, sweetheart. Let me go ahead and get somebody over there.
So this was July 5th. Officers responding to a home on Washington Avenue at 4 a.m. As you heard in that caller's voice, absolute terror, absolute fear over the person that was inside the house and fear for the safety of his grandmother as well. The person who was inside the house is 38-year-old Anthony Pursley. There was another conversation. I don't have the whole thing here. There was another conversation between the officer and the person who called in when the officer got on scene, and the conversation was picked up on body cam footage. I didn't have John download this one because I didn't have time just to go back through it and make sure everything was clean, no foul language or anything like that. I can tell you that I listened to the conversation, not closely enough to hear any dirty words, but close enough to know one of the things that the officer asked the caller was, is this person on drugs? And he said, I don't know right now. I think so, but I don't know right now. He says, has he used drugs in the past? And the guy said, yes, regularly. And the officer says, well, what has he used in the past? And the guy says, crack cocaine. So instantly in the officer's mind, before he even opens the front door, in the officer's mind, he knows that there's an 88-year-old woman whose life is in peril. There's a guy holding a weapon who might be or probably is cracked out. And the body camera footage, and I'm reading from WBRZ at this point, WBRZ.com at this point. In the body camera footage prior to the shooting, officers discussed the situation. It was also confirmed that along with the crack cocaine, he's got mental health issues. The officer discussed the situation with the bystander, confirming he has mental health issues. He was asked if he needed to go to the hospital. They discussed having to detain personally before giving him to mental health services, saying emergency services wouldn't take care of him if he was, quote, nutty. They opened the door, personally approaches the door officers with scissors in hand, lunges at them. Video from the incident shows officers yelling at Persley to put the scissors down. That's when the lunge happens, and that's when the gunshot happens. The officer did draw a taser. The other drew his handgun. So what you see in the video with the lunge, and every media outlet in Baton Rouge has this thing. So what you see in the video footage, that's where it starts to deviate as to who saw what. The same footage is in front of all of our eyes. WBRZ spoke with Jarrett Luter. He is the president of the Baton Rouge NAACP. He had a couple things to say to WBRZ. We went ahead and pulled the sound bites that WBRZ used. Here's one of the things that he had to say first and foremost.
If he had scissors or not, some team should have been on site to deal with the mental health situation. I don't think that was addressed by either of the police officers.
A team should have been on site? A team of people to specifically de-escalate the situation with a crackhead. Or, I'm sorry, that was offensive. Someone who was more than likely on crack at the time. And according to the on-field report, had used crack repeatedly. A team at 4 a.m.? Whew. Okay. I thought BRPD was strapped enough for personnel. We're just pulling teams of people out of the sky here? Let's go back to what Mr. Luter had to say.
So I don't see how even that statement alone is it was irresponsible and wrong. They went there to address a mental health situation, and that's what the family called for. Clearly, looking at that video, none of that was addressed. The mental health situation was either disregarded or, they clearly didn't address that when they went there.
He's just straight up wrong on that front. Sorry, not sorry. They didn't go there to address a mental health situation. They went there to save someone's life. There was an 88-year-old grandmother. John, can we go back to the beginning of the 911 call here? Go ahead.
911, what's the location of the emergency?
Washington Avenue, please hurry up. My cousin, he high on something. He's in the hospital. My grandmother, she's 88 years old. She's on hospice. Please send somebody here.
They did not go to address a mental health situation. They went there to save a woman's life. Those are two completely different stories. And there's also a difference between a mental health situation and a completely high on crack situation, if that's the way it was. But that's the information they were given. That's the information they were fed. It's amazing how, and we've seen this time and again, every time body camera footage is released, people see what they choose to see. The outcome was unfortunate, to be sure. But it's also still too early to know where this is going to head. But man, you're walking through a door at 4:00 in the morning with someone who has had a history of problems with drugs and coming at you with a pair of scissors. So we'll see where it goes from here. Quick break for traffic and your money now. We'll be right back. Okay, Galen. Ooh, where were you during the segment? Okay. Drugs or not, law enforcement's first duty is to save lives, theirs and others. Yes, they did save a life, but a life was spent that night as well. So, what is that, like a net zero? Or they walked out of that house with one less living person. So, are you in favor of what they did or opposed to what they did? Walter says you're on point. No one deserves to die. Suicide by cop. My biggest problem is we all have the benefit of hindsight. In the amount of time that it took me to play the 911 call, we were given more time to think about this than the officer from the time he opened the door to the time the guy with the scissors lunged at him. Like, oh, thank you, Byron. 100%. Good. Now, there you go, Galen. In favor. The aggressor was taken care of, regardless of his state of mind. And see, the point that I keep getting stuck on is, well, with his state of mind, you can't expect him to know, you can't expect him to know to put the scissors down. Well, in his state of mind, you can't expect him to know the difference between life and death. You can't expect him to know just how dangerous he can be. And I'm talking about to himself, to the officers, and to grandma. I mean, at the end of the day, the officers did exactly what the 911 call asked for. Save my grandma. Back already? .652, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along here. We got ABC News coming your way in about 7.5 minutes from right now. Woo, the glorified crew is off and running. The chat is going over on Facebook Live, which, by the way, we are on Facebook Live every single morning, courtesy of the folks over at Lake Urgent Care. Always appreciate their partnership. They stop by the show every Friday. They bring you the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live every Monday through Friday. Fantastic stuff. Just a couple of comments from the chat before we move on. Where do I go? Let's see. Walter says, you're on point. No one deserves to die. Suicide by cop, ? So, yeah, let's start with that angle right there. Is it suicide by cop? And you have to, from there, open up the discussion to where if you are the police officer, it's de-escalation is not always possible. If you're talking about somebody who is holding a weapon, and I know, scissors, right? Scissors. My mom told me not to run with scissors. No, it's still the potential to stab someone and hurt them very, very badly, if not kill them. You are talking about a weapon at that point. And you're talking about somebody who is potentially, as you've been told by the 911 dispatcher and by the person on the scene, is more than probably out of their mind right now. Not knowing the difference between right and wrong, not knowing the difference between life and death. So if it was suicide by cop, how do you stop? And I'll go from there to Byron's comment. He says the caller used the word hostage. So should we send unarmed counselors in to defuse a hostage taker armed with scissors? That team that Jarrett Luter was talking about, you want to send them in to talk him off this ledge? Galen says, I'm really tired of these armchair quarterbacks regarding these police incidents. First of all, I'm finding that the incidents, we're going to talk about this for weeks on end as the investigation rolls on, whether the officers are cleared, which I believe they will be. But as the incident rolls on and the process wears itself out, the the legal end of this, the judicial end of this, whatever end it takes, is going to take a lot longer than the incident itself. Galen used the term armchair quarterback right there, and I applaud him for using that term. In the amount of time it took for us to listen to the 911 call, that was longer than it took for this guy to lunge at officers once they opened the door. You have the hindsight, the benefit of hindsight, the benefit of having a moment to break down every nanosecond of the video as if the officer walking through the door could say, okay, push pause. Push pause. You can't freeze frame life. Which is one of the reasons why BRPD is always telling us about the Citizens Academy, why every one of us should take part in the Citizens Academy. You get such a better perspective of something like this when you realize just how fast things are. But keep the comments going. Keep the conversation going. Love it. It's over in the, we're live on Facebook every day on Talk 173's Facebook page, courtesy of the folks over at Lake Urgent Care. We've got to talk about the swing to the right in Louisiana. We'll do that in just a second. Do need to remind you about the folks over at Breck. Breck.org is the website. Breck.org is the website. The folks over at Breck, they are here for you for whatever your recreational wants, needs, and desires are. And I got to tell you, we're getting closer to the fall, which means we're getting closer to seeing the Haldanes out at Breck Parks all the time. My kids run cross country, and all the practices are at a Breck Park somewhere. Goodwood, Independence, Highland, wherever you're talking about, Kenilworth, wherever you're talking about. They'll be out there running. I love it because we get to see our recreational department in action, doing what they do best. And that is, when we go out there for the practices at Highland Road, it's probably my favorite because you get a little taste of everything. You get the kids at the end of the summer playing in the splash pad. You get the folks playing pickleball on into the early hours of the evening. Folks playing tennis into the early hours of the evening. The kids running cross country from every school around the way, zigzagging throughout. You get the guys playing the frisbee golf out there. When they hit that ching, when the disc hits the chains. I mean, it's all going on at once, and it really exemplifies what community is and should be. Just there at Highland Road Park. And, you know, they got all the turnover at Breck right now and just this focus on the future and their mission. So you know what's good, what's Gold Award winning is only going to get better. Check them out at Breck.org. You heard the story in our news at the bottom of the hour. By the way, 657, Talk 173 FM. You heard the news in the story. You heard the story in our news at the bottom of the hour from Louisiana Radio Network. The number of active registered Republican voters in Louisiana exceeds the number of active registered Democrat voters. John Cuvion, JMC Analytics and Polling, our favorite numbers nerd, he says when examining the total number of, and I say that with love, when examining the total number of registered voters, Democrats still outnumber Republicans in the state. However, when you remove those who haven't voted in the last two federal elections, that changes.
If you were to remove inactive voters from the equation and purely focus on active voters, for the first time ever, there's actually a plurality of registered Republicans.
Cuvion says it's going to take a while for Republicans to overtake Democrats in the number of registered voters in the state, since there are so many more inactive Democrats on the voter rolls.
Because Democrats still have a 2-to-1 lead amongst inactive voters, Republicans will not likely have a lead amongst all voters, probably till early next year.
Think about that for a second, though. The number of inactive voters on the Democrat side, you got to ask the question, why? Why are you inactive? Do the rolls need to be cleaned up? I mean, how many people registered as Democrats back in the 70s or 80s and have just never bothered to change it? That plays a part of it. How far down the rabbit hole, or how much have parties changed over the years to where you have registered Democrats who don't feel like their party represents them anymore, so they just don't show up. By the way, Cuvion says month after month, the Democrats keep losing voters.
You probably had more people either changing party and or passing away than were being replaced by new young Democrats.
By the way, if you're interested in the count, it's 958,000 Republican active voters to 920,000 Democrat active voters. So We'll see whether those numbers continue to trend if they stay that way, or how the rolls change if they need cleaning up, like John said. We got a break here for news, traffic, weather. Hour 2 is next. It's Heads Up 7 o'clock at Talk 107.3 FM. Pew. Yeah. Not sorry. Woo. Ha. 7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing. We are starting our second hour, similar to where we did our first hour, at 74 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Busy hour this hour. I'm really looking forward to my conversation with Will Green from LABI. He'll be coming up at 7:35. We're talking about a little thing called the Workforce Wake Up, connecting classrooms to careers. It's been an ongoing topic of conversation, and it's really starting to pick up steam. So getting to that in about half an hour from right now. Before that, we'll have the folks from Our Lady of the Lake on for Medical Monday, talking a little bit about vaping. But before that, in fact, right now, we do top stories and trending. Let's go.
Number 5.
Family, friends, and longtime church members filled the pews of the Family Worship Center in Baton Rouge yesterday to honor Reverend Jimmy Swaggart. The world-renowned televangelist passed away earlier this month at the age of 90. Attendees literally traveled from all over the world for the memorial.
Number 4.
East Feliciana Parish Sheriff's Office said they found what they believe are the remains of a 71-year-old woman who was reported missing. According to a statement, searchers found remains several hundred yards from Mary M. Peggy Wilson's house. She had last been seen on July 5th at her home on Billy Goat Road. Foul play is not suspected. However, everything's pending the coroner's report.
Number 3.
Governor Jeff Landry announced on Friday he has appointed Michael Hare as executive director of the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority. Hare replaces Glenn Leday, who moved over to head up DOTD.
Number 2.
After the Baton Rouge Police Department released footage of an officer shooting a man while responding to a call on Washington Avenue, the Baton Rouge NAACP criticized the officer's handling of the situation. So the situation broke down on July 5th. Officers responded to Washington Avenue at 4 a.m. because the concerned caller said Anthony Persley was possibly on narcotics and acting violently. Footage showed family concerned about their grandmother in the house with Persley.
Number 1.
We are looking at a 30% chance of a named storm that could be headed this way. It's an area of low pressure located just offshore of the coast of Florida, producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. This disturbance is expected to move westward across Florida during the next day or so. Environmental conditions appear favorable, and some gradual development of the system is possible while it moves westward into the Gulf. We are within the little blob of uncertainty for this storm. Right now is a 30% chance that it will become a named storm over the next 7 days. There's a lot that has to happen before that happens, but we are keeping an eye on it. We should know a lot more by tomorrow. It's got to cross land first, so we'll see how that plays out. If it does become a named storm, it will be named Dexter.
Like that, really
Dexter.
ominous.
Yeah. Dexter on Showtime.
President Donald Trump on Saturday announced he's levying tariffs of 30% against the European Union and Mexico.
We talked about it last hour, John. I'm starting to feel like an alcoholic. Because every time tariffs are mentioned, my mind immediately goes to what I drink from that country.
Oh.
I said, you're talking about 35% tariffs on Canada. I'm like, I don't drink Crown Royal. I don't care.
There you go.
I don't even drink Canadian beer. I do, however, like Irish beer. Like Oh, my wife and I both love a tall, cold Guinness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know what? I'll take one for the team here. I'll pay 30% more for a Guinness. I will. Maybe even for a harp.
Oh man.
Jameson might have to run into some trouble though.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean,
what about some tequila?
Tequila's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
Because tequila, there's no alternative here in America. Tequila's got to come from Jalisco, Mexico, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I could replace Irish whiskey begrudgingly. I could replace my Jameson with something that was made right in Kentucky. You know, I could replace Irish with bourbon. But and I can find a good local brewer to make me a stout. Okay. It's not gonna be the same. But I can make those replacements. Tequila's gonna be a problem. And more importantly, I think I have a problem.
If there's one thing we're learning from all of these.
Yeah.
All of these tariffs.
Yeah. Can we just put tariffs on countries that are dry?
Yeah.
I mean,
be better off, right?
I would be so much happier that way.
Oh, man. In other news, though nothing has been formally agreed to yet, Our Lady of the Lake said they are discussing naming rights for LSU's planned $400 million arena.
Okay, so I wasn't fair to the glorified crew over there in the Facebook chat. I threw that out there last hour, and then we immediately got into the discussion about the body cam footage.
Oh, yeah.
So it might be time to throw this back out there again. We're live on Facebook, courtesy of Lake Urgent Care, every single day. I want your contributions here. You know how when an arena gets a sponsor and a name and whatnot, a nickname evolves. Like, for example, the Smoothie King Center instantly became the Blender. If Our Lady of the Lake throws their name on the new LSU arena, what are you calling it? What's going to be the nickname there? No bad answer. Well, they're all bad answers. Like, let's just be honest. Right now, it's all a rough draft, which is what we want to sift through. All right? Put them up over on the chat on Facebook Live, if you don't mind.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. Hey, we've got a shark alligator rules story.
You're darn right we do.
Last Thursday, two fishermen in Pensacola, Florida, nabbed an 11-foot, 8-inch, 1,000-pound tiger shark.
Bro.
Man.
Bro. First of all, shout out to these two fishermen. And the picture that went up with it.
Yeah, I was looking at the picture. I was going to mention that. Yeah.
I mean, they're doing some work out there. All right, let's break this down piece by piece.
And this is close to shore.
I know.
This is
well, they've got it on shore.
Yeah, they're in ankle-deep water.
Right.
Yeah. Just for anyone listening who hasn't seen the photos, I mean, you thinking fishermen, they're not out there. They're ankle-deep.
Yeah. I mean, they wrestled this thing.
Yeah.
And it's a 1,000-pound animal.
Oof.
Like, forget about the amazement I have for the gear they used, you know? The line that didn't snap, the rod and reel, whatever they used to bring this thing in. I'm just talking about two dudes.
Yeah,
that were
that's all it is.
Right. Like, here's the other part. This was in where was it? Pensacola.
Pensacola.
Okay, that might be far enough away that they didn't go out to the Floribama that night, because they'd be feeling it. They'd be feeling it a little bit, talking smack at the Floribama, and then a fight would ensue. You don't want to fight a guy that just wrestled a 1,000-pound tiger shark.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No.
Yeah, one dude looks pretty swole.
Yeah, the guy with his shirt off.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he has his shirt off. It's because he's swole.
Literally has a hat. He has a gym hat.
Yeah.
It says it's got gym on it.
Right.
Like, this dude's like, what gym? I don't even know what gym it is. It just
doesn't matter.
It's just so you know.
But aside from the safety concerns that you're on Pensacola, you're in Pensacola, you're on the beach, and there's a 1,000-pound tiger shark. Aside from the safety concerns there, you have the third deadliest shark out there.
Yep.
And you're holding it by the snoot.
That's it.
Awesome stuff.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh goodness, look at the time. Hang on, we all right. I could continue on about the tiger shark.
I know.
Third deadliest,
impressive.
behind the great white and the oceanic white tip. You get the tiger shark coming in there. We got a break. We got Medical Monday coming up next with Our Lady of the Lake.
Yeah, just two bros, man. They're just.
I gotta grab something off the printer. I shall return.
Time for your weekly checkup. This is Medical Monday, presented by Our Lady of the Lake Health.
Yes, it is time for Medical Monday, and this week we're talking about vaping. We welcome in from Our Lady of the Lake, Catherine Templeton. Catherine, welcome aboard. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brian?
Could not be better as we start off the week. So let's talk vaping a little bit. Sold as a cigarette alternative, it's getting to be more and more popular. Everywhere you turn, I'm seeing more and more people vaping. What is it all about?
So vaping is the act of inhaling a vapor that's created by a battery-powered smoking device. It utilizes cartridges filled with liquid containing nicotine and other chemicals that are heated into the vapor. And unfortunately, we're seeing a lot more of this in youth these days, which is super concerning. And that's kind of the concern of why the addiction becomes so long term. A research back in 2021 told us that 2 million middle schoolers and high schoolers are using e-cigarettes, also known as vaping devices, and 80% are using the flavored vapors. Another reason it's becoming more popular among them.
This vaping was originally sold as like a safer alternative to smoking, but it's really not, is it?
It's not, and that's one of the misconceptions. It's believed to be less harmful. It's also become more appealing because of cost being a little less pricey than cigarette smoking. It's not a safe alternative. It is a huge misconception. While it is maybe a little less harmful and not contain all of the nitrosamines that tobacco, which is carcinogenic and cancer-causing, that the tobacco from the cigarettes may contain, it still contains lots of chemicals that are harmful, that cause lung damage and tissue damage. Many of these are used in the flavors, in the aromatics, which makes them more popular among our young population.
Is it more popular amongst the young population because of, the flavors, I think, is just, that's an obvious yes. But with the vape going away so quickly, does that make it easier for them to, quote, get away with it?
I do think it does. The lack of the smell of smoke, tobacco smoke having a foul odor, and the vaping does not, is another reason we're seeing the uptick in the youth and in our young adolescent teens. Yeah. Because that typically would have deterred many folks from smoking cigarettes. Unfortunately, they're picking up the bad habit of vaping when they originally never would have picked up a cigarette to begin with.
Right. And yeah, between the getting away with it and the flavors, it's such a worse combo. We're talking with Catherine Templeton from Our Lady of the Lake about vaping and why it's growing in popularity. Let's talk about some of those consequences along the way. Let's continue down that path, if you don't mind. Not just with the vaping itself, but like the long-term consequences.
So long-term consequences are still being studied, okay? So vaping's been around, roughly around or a little less than a decade or so. And while long-term consequences might not be totally clear yet, certainly some very imperative short-term consequences have become obvious. And speaking on the long-term consequences, it still contains nicotine. It still becomes addictive. So is this a gateway to further addictions, such as illicit drug use, especially in our adolescent population? And nicotine in the adolescent also impairs brain development. So that's certainly a concern from a long-term perspective. The chemicals that these vapes contain, lots of propylene glycol, formaldehyde, acrolein. Many of the aromatics have cancer-causing components like polycyclic hydrocarbons, aldehydes, and saccharides, including, some of these are metals. Right. Inhaling metals. None of us would ever think about inhaling metals and that it would be safe. So, short-term consequences, including lung injury, have been seen. In fact, in a study in 2020, the CDC confirmed over 2,800 cases of lung injury contributed to vaping. They studied this and realized that vitamin E acetate is part of that culprit. And of these cases, there were 68 deaths that were directly attributed to this cause.
Is there anything to what you explained how it is, just every bit as the potential to be every bit as addictive as cigarettes. Is there anything to the belief that it's even more so because it's so concentrated and hits so fast?
Now, there are some studies that have come out that think, that or have given us information that it contains more nicotine than the average traditional cigarette, meaning it can become harder to quit the vaping. So, as many people may try to use vaping as a segue to smoking cessation of the cigarettes, it's actually not as successful as for some folks as it would be for others, depending on which vapors or chemicals are in the substance they're vaping.
This is Medical Monday, of course, presented by Our Lady of the Lake, and today we are talking about vaping with Catherine Templeton. Catherine, I want to ask about the possibility of adding things in there. This is where it starts to get even more dangerous. Is the vape itself has the flavors added in and other things like that, but the user can be adding to this as well to really ramp things up to a different level of danger.
Absolutely. None of these are regulated by the FDA.
Yeah.
So none of these chemicals at any level are considered safe, or is it being regulated to note, like, is this a harmful amount or not? Plus, the user and the consumer can be adjusting these and allowing even more intense and concentrated formulas of these chemicals into their body as they are inhaling.
Yeah, and then if you start talking about adding illegal drugs into it as well, you've got a
Correct.
whole new ball game.
Absolutely.
All right, let's step it away from the kids who are vaping and those who know what they're getting, but they decide to get it anyway. Let's move back over to those who were smokers and then pivoted to the vape because they thought it was an alternative, or a healthier alternative as they wanted to kick cigarettes. What options are out there that Our Lady of the Lake Health offers that can help them through their addiction and hopefully wean off of it?
So Our Lady of the Lake offers a smoking cessation program. It is designed to help patients quit tobacco smoking as well as vaping. It is a program that consists of 5 to 7 sessions. And the first session is fulfilled in person, and it becomes tailored to each individual patient. And after those the first session, you can complete the remaining ones either by televisit or in person. And they utilize smoking cessation medications and individual versus group counseling. So it has it's shown to increase the success rate for smoking cessation in our consumers.
Let's talk about that counseling in for just a little bit, because I think when a lot of folks think about smoking cessation, they don't think about that one-on-one, that just getting verbal and bringing the subconscious to the conscious.
Correct. And anytime we have a coach for a pep talk or for encouragement and kind of, again, tailoring each person's journey to what their pitfalls may be and how to help each patient overcome these. I think that's where the counseling becomes extremely helpful. And again, this can be one-on-one and it can be in a group format as well.
Yeah, you think about name an aspect of life where you don't want to coach, right? I mean, folks hire dietitians, they hire personal trainers, they hire financial advisors. Why would this be any different?
And I think this particular, it's a difficult habit to kick. Nicotine is very, very addictive, right? As whereas sometimes it's not just a conscious black or white effort because there's such a strong hold on the addiction aspect of it. And it's something that our body starts to crave. And that's the downfall of nicotine. And it's not just the nicotine, it's the other chemicals that are added, and especially a lot of our population who may have, pre-existing conditions such as COPD or asthmatics. They have even, more intense need to stop smoking, yet they are having a difficult time to quit.
No, absolutely. And then you start entering all kinds of other pieces to the factors into the equation there. Last one before we get you out of here, and I greatly appreciate your time this morning. And
my pleasure.
That is, how can smokers get on the road to recovery with the smoking cessation program that Our Lady of the Lake offers?
Well, first and foremost, it is never too late to quit. And if you would like to learn more about the program and get scheduled for your first session, you can give us a call at 225-757-2455.
757-2455. Of course, that is in the 225 area code. Catherine Templeton, thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you, Brian. My pleasure. You have a great day.
You too. Of course, Medical Monday is brought to you by folks at Our Lady of the Lake every single Monday. Let me give you the guest list rundown again. Coming up in our next segment, we got Will Green, President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. We're talking about the workforce wake-up, connecting the classroom to careers. In our 8 o'clock hour, SEC Media Days gets underway today. Chuck Oliver is the king of college football. He's going to join us at 8:15 to talk about that. We're going to have probably somebody from 104.5 on each day as we make our way through SEC Media Days. Well, that's the goal right now, at least, is the very least Monday and Tuesday to get a little preview of the whole thing and then a little recap of what LSU had to say at the microphone. Our sister station, 104.5 ESPN, they're over there, so they'll have coverage for you all week long. If you're not familiar with Chuck, like I said, he's the king of college football. That's not somebody just slapping a nickname on somebody. He's done this for years. He's got a show over on Southern Sports Today. You'll catch him 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN. It does not matter what time of year it is. He's talking college football in the show. That's all they talk about on that show is college football. Because honestly, between recruiting and the transfer portal and the preseason and the postseason and the breakdowns and the talking season and all of it, there's rarely a time where you don't have something to cover in college football. That's what Chuck does for 2 hours every day, 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN. So we'll talk with Chuck Oliver at 8:15. We're going to wrap up our guest list with the author of One Foot in Front of the Other. One Foot in Front of the Other is a book about hiking the entire Appalachian Trail. Duane Shexnayder, who's from our own backyard, people call him Tank. Tank walked the trail. We're going to talk about the journey. We're going to talk about the book. We're going to talk about the similarities and lessons between life and hiking, honestly. I mean, the book is called One Foot in Front of the Other for a reason. And there's a lot of takeaways there. So we'll talk with Duane Shexnayder at 11:35. Right now, though, need to remind you about the Louisiana Travel Association invites you to tag along with me and my family for, hopefully will be an unforgettable trip in the right way. They're calling it Brian's Big Adventure. You can follow me and the fam Friday, July 25th through Monday, July 28th. It's just an extended weekend, just 4 days of the Haldanes in an RV, hopping in the RV from Miller's RV, right there on Florida Boulevard. Underrated little gem right there in our own backyard. Nothing they can't do at Miller's RV in the RVing world's perspective. It'll focus a little bit on the natural beauty of the state. Probably the content is more going to focus on me being a buffoon when it comes to anything involving the outdoors. Like, the outdoors are meant to be appreciated from a distance. It hasn't been my bag in the past. Fishing, I love fishing. Yeah, I love grilling. Absolutely love grilling. Love a good campfire, making some s'mores for sure. Not really sure how I could screw this up. And Jeff and his team in Miller's RV is going to make this as easy for me as possible. And the whole thing's presented by the Louisiana Travel Association and Miller's RV on Talk 107.3 FM. We got a couple minutes. We got 2 minutes until news, traffic, weather. All right. Want to go back to the Bodycam story, if we could, for just a minute, because there was so much good contribution over there on Facebook Live. We're live on Facebook every day. I tell you about that regularly. The folks at Lake Urgent here bring you the chat over on Facebook Live. If you wanted to hop in on that one, you're more than welcome to. We can continue that conversation about Friday evening. The Bodycam footage was released from BRPD. This is about the shooting, the officer-involved shooting that happened on July 5th. 4 o'clock in the morning. Guy is potentially or probably high on something. Crack cocaine was what they said it was going to be in the conversation between the responding officer and the person who called. BRPD goes in, and, I mean, everything happens real fast. It happens real fast, and the NAACP, as you would expect, has a problem with it. One of the comments I didn't get to earlier was from Galen, who says, perhaps those criticizing law enforcement actions on this matter should be required to ride along for a week or two. That would open their eyes. You know, we have Baton Rouge Police Chief T.J. Morse on with us roughly once a month. And one of the things that Chief Morse, one of the things that Elgene McNeely talks about is Baton Rouge Citizens Academy. Condon's done the Citizens Academy in the past. We probably should pull him in here to talk about it, because the Citizens Academy puts you and me in front of these situations. Simulated, of course, but it's very, very easy for all of us to Monday morning quarterback a situation like this, to have the benefit of hindsight. But Galen's spot on. Let's put you in their shoes for just a quick second and see how you react. It's 7:30. Here's news. Oh, y'all, if y'all don't have plans for Wednesday, Mathern's has got it going on. I'll get more details later on today, but their grand opening ceremonies are going to happen this week. Wednesday, and then through the end of the week from there, with the big grand opening on Saturday. But if you want that super sneak preview, I know they've been open for over a month now, but that super sneak preview is coming up on Wednesday. So where does the NAACP stand on all the black-on-black shootings that happen almost daily? Hey, okay, so let me say this and accept it in the instance that in the spirit that it's given. Can I follow up on that question and say, where does the NAACP stand on this guy who has repeatedly been admitted into facilities for usage of crack cocaine? Like, where was the NAACP, the last guy that's had to be sent to a the Bridge Center for Hope or whatever because he was high on crack, and the time before that, and the time before that? The body cam footage shows the interaction between the officer and the person who called, and the guy said, yeah, he uses drugs a lot. Oh, what does he use? Crack cocaine. So yeah, let me take where you're going, Renee, and continue on that path. It would be easy to say this is one thing and not another. Don't let that be a straw man argument. That's what the debaters call it, the straw man fallacy. Don't let this be that. Keep it inside that building where you got that one crackhead in there, alleged crackhead in there.
Studio. Hi, good morning, sir. Yeah, looking to have you up here in just a few minutes. All right, thank you.
Is that what this is? Rants? I do rants. Is that what I'm doing now?
Reporting? No. Rants? We'll give you that.
Sure. Seven 36 to talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Time to shift our focus over to the workforce, specifically Workforce Wake Up, connecting classrooms to careers. Joining us on the hotline right now, as he does every Monday, we've got Will Green from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Will, how are you, man?
Good morning, Brian. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing very well as well. So the classrooms to careers mentality has kind of been growing in the state of Louisiana. It's one that Dr. Brumley has definitely adopted or pushed, I should say. It's one that LABI has been championing for some time now. Walk me through Workforce Wake Up and where it's going to take us.
Yeah, so Brian, one of the things that we looked at through our LA-driven strategic plan, when we looked at how do we move the state forward, to be an economic force across the South over the next few years, we looked at, all right, what are the problems we have, and then once we find the problems, how do we find the solutions? And so one of the problems that we saw was that in Louisiana we have a lot of open jobs and just not enough skilled talent to fill them. Currently, Louisiana's labor force participation rate stands at about 58.5%. Close that gap, Louisiana needs to add about an additional 145,000 people to its labor force, right? So one of our LA-driven priorities has been addressing the critical talent shortage and the need for strategic alignment of workforce development, right? Like finding and aligning skilled workers and connecting them to the needs-based jobs. It's why we supported expanding MJ Foster to nonviolent offenders, and it's why we supported a bill by Representative Ken Brass to expand eligibility programs for MJ Foster Promise Program funding to include those associated with LED projects, right? Talk to LED, find out what are those projects coming in and what are the needs-based jobs that those projects have and the workers that need to fill those. And it's, so you flash forward, you mentioned Dr. Brumley, he's focused a lot on classroom to employment and apprenticeships. Mm-hmm. And this really piggybacks on that. And so on Thursday, July 17th at 9 a.m. at the Lobby Center for Free Enterprise, we're having an event that we're calling the Workforce Wake Up, connecting classrooms to careers. We think Louisiana can and should be a leader in creating high-skilled, high-wage jobs through collaboration between the business community and the state. And so what this program, what this event is going to do is it's going to talk about a partnership between Lobby, the U.S. Chamber, and the College Board in attempting to launch a new AP course titled Business Principles and Personal Finance. And so it's something that we're excited about. It's another tool to try to address that critical talent shortage. And again, it's Thursday, July 17th at 9 a.m.
Business Principles and Personal Finance, what goes into that?
So this, like we said, many students graduate high school unprepared for real-world business and financial demands. And so this course is designed. It's a course that we hope business will buy into, Bessie will buy into, parents will buy into, and we can launch over the next couple of years. It's a course that's designed to give students a head start in business, personal finance, and career readiness. One of the things that we're finding as the business community is that students just simply aren't coming out of high school with a great grasp on real world experience in business and marketing and finance, and they're just not equipped with the essential business and personal finance skills that that are sufficient. And so, in order to get a head start and a greater jump on comprehensive skills necessary, this course will help build a synergy between these disciplines and really help students gain a better understanding of business and its role in society. Discover how businesses create value and earn profits by meeting customers' needs. Students will learn personal finance concepts to enhance business knowledge and financial decision making. And so it's real world experience that'll jumpstart students, leaving high school, going into business, and we think it's a win for the student, it's a win for the business, and we're really excited to have that discussion with stakeholders this week.
We've seen, over the generations, we've seen where different classes used to be in school that kind of disappeared, that had real life applications. This would be new, though. This would be heading back in that direction, but in a new direction. Like, there used to be shop class, there used to be home ec, there used to be, all kinds of things that helped you personally once you got out of school. This is something that would help you professionally once you got out of school.
Yeah, just look like these practical career ready skills, right? And so, you can learn a lot about how to do a job in school, but really you don't really kind of learn how to actually run a business or the makeup of a business until you kind of really dive in. And so that's why we think these skills and then apprenticeships and mentorship is so important. That's why we were so excited to partner with Dr. Brumley and Besley on the new accountability standards this year. Really focused on school to career readiness to help fill the workforce gap. And so really closing Louisiana's skill gap, it really does require a long-term statewide strategy. And we as the state chamber, State Manufacturing Association, we want to help lead the charge by bringing all stakeholders to the table to try to close that gap.
We're talking with Will Green, President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. They've got the Workforce Wake Up coming up at 9 a.m. on July 17th over there at the headquarters on the Center of Free Enterprise over there on Main Street, 5th and Main. Will, let's go back to that labor force participation rate at 58.5%. We are in the bottom 10 nationwide. But this is one that I've always found such a weird number because we're only a good 6 or 7% away from being average. Why is there the gap there feels like it's attainable?
Yes, I mean, look, like I said, close the gap. Louisiana, we need about another 145,000 jobs, and so that percentage number, when you say 6 or 7%, what does that really mean, right? When you put that into real, actual numbers and real people, and when you talk about 145,000 people, I mean, that's a lot, right? And so we have to have a all hands on deck, all options approach, and that's why obviously this AP course focuses on high school students, right? Let's jumpstart high school kids into the workforce to help close that gap. That's one tool. The other tool is Be Pro, Be Proud. We've talked about that before, Brian. That was a transformational program that was started by the Arkansas Chamber. It's a tractor trailer that goes to high schools all across the state, and it talks about needs-based jobs. It educates students on needs-based jobs, and as a result of that program in Arkansas, career technical college enrollment has gone up, and high school dropout rates have gone down. And students are being connected to these need-based jobs. That's something that we want to bring. We want to bring Be Pro, Be Proud Louisiana. We want to bring that program to Louisiana. And then again, it's expanding the MJ Foster Promise program. I mean, that's how we expand it to the adults, right? I mean, we expand it to nonviolent offenders. We connect the MJ Foster Promise. LED knows the projects in the pipeline. They know the projects that we have now. They know the jobs that are going to be needed today and tomorrow. One of the recent AP courses that the U.S. Chamber worked with high schools on was IT related and cybersecurity related. Obviously, that's going to be something now and in the future. And so it's just keeping our students updated and making sure that we're ahead of the curve, not behind the curve on the jobs of today and tomorrow.
The Murphy J. Foster program, expanding that one out, that would actually work in two different ways, Will, in that you can increase that labor percentage on the one side, but also decrease recidivism as well. That feels like it's a win-win.
Yeah, we think so, right? I mean, we want to make sure. Obviously, one of the studies are overwhelming that if an ex-offender comes out of prison with a skill and with an opportunity, they're overwhelmingly less likely to reoffend. And if they come out as a positive, productive citizen of society instead of a drain on society, going back to prison, and so we obviously do think it's a win-win. They feel a needs-based job and they're no longer a drain on society going back to prison.
The Be Proud program you were mentioning there, Will, I find this one intriguing because this is targeting specifically those students in high school who don't know what the end goal is yet. I mean, for a number of students, four-year college is the way to go. For a number of students, they see the trade that they want to take on. But for a number of them, there's this ambiguity here, and without a finish line, it's hard to cross a finish line. This brings that to the forefront from a communication perspective.
Right. So, look, the reality is that there's a lot of students out there right now. They're coming home from high school and they've got scholarship offers from, we talked about it before, Brian. I went to Northwestern State University, right? I came home from high school and I had Northwestern applications and tops. And, my mom said, hey, Northwestern wants you. You got a scholarship. You're signing up. And that's what you're doing. The reality is that some kids don't have that, right? And so they're questioning, what is my next step? What is my future? And do I have a future? And do I need to keep going to school? And what Arkansas found was that, kids were dropping out because they just didn't feel like, if I don't have if I'm not going to college, I'm not going to 2-year degree, I don't have any other motivation,
right?
Then they were dropping out. And so what B Pro did was they started going around to high schools and they put actual virtual reality and real stations into this massive tractor trailer with needs-based jobs like trucking and like rail, and they put chemical industry and other industries that you could come out of high school with a GED or a high school degree or with a 2-year degree making significant money. And it opened kids' eyes, and it opened parents' eyes, and kids were now connected to a career. They finished school, they started going to 2-year schools, and that program that started Be Proud that started in Arkansas, they now have 2 trucks, so they doubled the trucks, and they have 100 high schools on the wait list. And so that program's now, I believe, in 5 other states. And again, we think it's something that we definitely want to bring here to Louisiana as a tool to fill needs-based jobs and to give kids in high school a chance to learn about the other opportunities out there.
We got 1 minute left with Will Green from LABI. All right, Thursday, July 17th, 9 a.m. What do folks need to know? Is this still open for registration?
Yeah, Thursday, July 17th, 9 a.m. We'll be at the Lobby Center for Free Enterprise, 5th and Main. Link to register on Lobby's event page. You can go to lobby.org, click on our events page, and you can see the link to register there. Come learn more about Workforce Wake Up, Connecting Classrooms to Career, this AP program that we want to launch in Louisiana next year.
We will include the link when we post this on demand as well. He is Will Green, President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. We always appreciate the time, man.
Thanks, Brian. Have a great week.
You do the same. 750 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We are due up for a quick break. When we come back from that break, you heard the story in news at the bottom of the hour from our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network. The measles are back. Let's talk about that a little bit, and we will pick up right at this. Quick check of your money now. We'll check traffic. We will continue next. That's going to be featured, by the way. Here Here's the notes. I don't know if you'd want these for writing it or if you want to AI it or what, but. Oh, that's the only way that could go. Yeah. Yeah, the national average is like 62.5 or something like that, 63% for the workforce, labor force percentage. What is it? Mm. What's new over here? Well, Center Square's gonna have dick this week. I don't care. Don't care. Let's see. What's the Highway Safety Commission working on? Ooh, we speed too much. Oh, I might have to have fun with this tomorrow. 240 people in Louisiana died in crashes involving speeding in 2023. Yeah. Meanwhile, State Senator Jay Luna was pushing for us to go faster or get the hell out of his way. Like, we passed a law saying you can't go slow in the left-hand lane. Yeah, well, why? Because someone's speeding and they're going to run up on you. And I guarantee you this was pushed as you'll reduce these number of accidents if you'll just get the hell out of the way. Not if you'll stop speeding. Just get the hell out of his way. $7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Been telling you for the past couple weeks about the folks over at NeuroJust. Who needs the folks at NeuroJust? Well, I'm happy to answer that question. Anybody who's suffering from anxiety or depression, If you don't know if you're suffering from anxiety or depression, let me ask you the simple question. Do you constantly feel like you're in a fight or flight mode? Does that take a toll on your sleep at night? Does it leave you exhausted during the day? Can you not focus on things because your mind continues to race somewhere else? The folks over at NeuroJust are here for you. Look, I'm all about mental health on this show. And there's nothing wrong with face-to-face, talk it out therapy. But there's often times where therapy turns to diagnosis turns into quick prescription. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that on its surface. But oftentimes with that, you'll walk down the path of the prescription leads to an addiction. The prescription has diminishing returns. It stops working. There are side effects. You name it. NeuroJust steps in there and offers up transcranial magnetic stimulation. This is an FDA-approved, non-invasive treatment. It is a pain-free treatment. No medications involved. It's an in-clinic treatment where it uses magnetic pulses to stimulate areas of the brain that are involved in mood regulation. Let me just send you to neurojust.com to get started. Neurojust.com. Neurojust. Neurojust.com. You go through the sessions and, there's response rates of 78 to 80%, remission rates of 60 to 70%. They've got the receipts. They've got the numbers. They can help you or any family member or anyone you know who's suffering from anxiety and depression at neurojust.com. So our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network letting us know, and we've been seeing other stories about this recently, where there is a rise, a re-rise, I guess, of the measles. I mean, it was all but eradicated a quarter of a century ago, but apparently measles is back with a vengeance. Our news partners at LRN letting us know Dr. Fred Lopez, a professor of medical education at the LSU School of Medicine in New Orleans, says the number of measles cases across the country is staggering.
1,288 cases reported as of midweek by the CDC. That's the most in the United States since the year 2000, when the disease was declared eliminated.
I guess it wasn't eliminated then. I mean, the previous high since then was 1,282, so this isn't too far above that previous high. But here's the thing, that 1,282 was off the whole year. We've still got half a year to go. Now, Louisiana is among the 38 states with confirmed cases. Dr. Lopez says your very best defense against the highly contagious and deadly disease is to go ahead and get vaccinated.
One dose of the vaccine, 93% effective at preventing measles. 2 doses, 97%. And currently, the vaccine recommendations in the United States are for 2 doses.
Lopez says if the vaccines don't prevent you from getting measles, they will at least keep symptoms down to a minimum.
Even if you develop measles after getting 2 doses, your illness should be less severe and you're less likely to transmit the measles virus to other people who may not be immune to it.
We're in a weird spot right now with vaccinations. Last week at the Rotary Club, the presentation was by Dr. Steven Sanchez, and it was about vaccines, and he spelled out everything beautifully. I would recommend going to find that on YouTube. Just look up Baton Rouge Rotary on YouTube. The content's available there. But we ran into something with the beginning of COVID. It probably started before that. Actually, it did start before that, but it kind of gained traction during COVID when people started turning their nose up to the COVID vaccine and then broadening that out to everything else. Look, I'm one that my children are vaccinated. Absolutely. It's what the doctor says to do, so that's what we're going to do. But there's been so much pushback. I can't help but wonder how we get the discussion back on track. I don't know. This is something we'll pick up at a later date. Right now, we got news. Okay, Kevin, I got to call you out, boss. I got to call you out. I agree with you in principle and I agree with you in spirit, but where are you getting that number? 90% of drivers rolling in the left lane, not passing anyone, are on the cell phones as well. I know it feels like that because I feel like that too. But you can't be empirical about this. Because if we could, it's an already ticketable offense. And to me, the cell phone's the bigger problem than the speed. Oh, by the way, the overall awareness is a bigger problem than the speed. And one of the things that I find is the not giving a damn is a bigger problem than the speed. 90%. Oh my goodness. No, I'm not paying to pray. Yo. Here's the thing, though. All right, when it comes down to it, if you want to ticket people for driving too slow in the left-hand lane, there has to be a cop present at the time that's driving slow in the left-hand lane. It's an impossible thing to follow. %90 of drivers I pass. Kevin passes somebody, breaks out the notebook, marks a little slit, marks a little line down. There's 1 of 1, 1 of 2, 2 of 3, 3 of 4. Oh, love you, buddy. That's awesome. The misinformation about vaccines existed long before the COVID vaccines. No solid evidence that they cause autism. So I was going to bring up autism, and then I didn't because I saw the time, and I wanted to get out on time and drive to and from NOLA every day. No, I know. I'm making fun. You should put a hard number on it. This is what I'm making fun of, buddy. The anti-vaxxers have caused a lot of damage. Yes, they absolutely have. Could not agree more. And the one study from 30 years ago or whatever that linked autism to vaccines not only was debunked, but was recanted by the author of the study. And everyone else who cited the study cited the one study. So I like that too. Nailed it. I got to hop out the chat for a minute. I got to open my Mathern's app. .806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing. We are starting off the third hour of the show at 79 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Got a busy third hour. Talk with Chuck Oliver of Southern Sports Today. Chuck Oliver is the host of the Chuck Oliver Show. He talks college football all year long. All year long. There's never a shortage of topics either. And today, you can really ramp that up as SEC Media Days gets underway. Got Chuck coming up about 8 minutes from right now, closer to 10 minutes from right now. Also this hour, we're going to hear from author Duane Shexnayder, a.k.a. Tank. Tank wrote the book One Foot in Front of the Other. It's about walking the Appalachian Trail. There's a lot of real-life takeaways, not just hiking takeaways, coming out of this book, and I can't wait to have that conversation. But I'm going to have to wait until 8:35. Right now, before we get to the top stories and trending, let me remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. Love telling you about Mathern's and the Rewards app. I always tell you about the Rewards app, right? Because you can earn cash towards more groceries every time you shop. Because you get to take advantage of the deals of the week every week, the coupons that are there every week. Whether you're saving 50 cents on the gallon of Arizona tea, to saving 50 cents on Genevieve's garlic butter, to saving $1 on a 24-pack of Mathern's water. Like, they've constantly got coupons rolling through. They've also got their weekly ad pushing through every week that lets you know things like bone-in pork chops are $1.79 a pound. Yes, they've got all that going on, and I love telling you about Mathern's. But right now, I want to tell you about the newest, oldest location. Newest, oldest? Yeah. So Mathern's started in Baton Rouge as Kenilworth Supermarket, right? Well, they're back. And this Wednesday will be the beginning of the grand opening festivities. We'll have more details for you as Wednesday gets closer. But look forward on Wednesday for them to really start ramping things up. They opened up about a month or so ago. They've been getting their feet underneath them, and now they're ready to roll full board. So grand opening festivities at Mathern's on Highland, just west of Kenilworth, will get cranking on Wednesday all the way through Saturday. Looking forward to telling you more about that as the week wears on. Right now, it's staying in history. All right, John.
Beginning in 1969, the United States, $500, $1,000, $5,000, and $10,000 bills are officially withdrawn from circulation.
Hate it. Hate it. Bring them back. You get rid of the big bills, and now things are so much more expensive.
I know, right?
Right?
It'd be more convenient just to pay with a $500 bill.
Right, but we never use cash anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
But at the same time, though, think about how much money could be wasted if you could take a $500 bill to a nightclub, right?
Man.
To a casino.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah.
Think about just, if you want to be a baller, you want bottle service, you're whipping out that $500 right there.
I'm telling you, man.
Yes.
And a $10,000 bill at that.
Give me a $10,000 bill.
You got change for $10,000.
Can you break a 10 grand for me?
Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, that's same
You
year.
talk about like a pizza delivery guy just.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Just wet himself right there on your front porch.
Right
Can you break a 10,000? Well, then I guess it's free.
Yeah. Oh, man. That same year, 69, Easy Rider, directed by Dennis Hopper, starring himself, and Jack Nicholson is released that year. Sorry. Yeah. 1974.
Hang on, we're just starting in 65?
Yeah, what we got?
You don't want to go back to 1789 when the Bastille was stormed?
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It? Oh.
Paris mob storms the Bastille on this day in 1789. So look out for all your anti-capitalism friends to post something on Facebook today.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Due to all these national days here.
Yeah.
Let's see. 1974, Ted Bundy victims. Janice Ott and Denise Naslund disappear from a state park in Washington.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let's see. 1976, Democratic Convention in New York nominates former Georgia Governor Jimmy Carter for president, with U.S. Senator Walter Mondale from Minnesota as vice president.
Okay.
1983, Mario Brothers is first released by Nintendo in Japan.
Really?
As an arcade game.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's good
It's
stuff.
an arcade game.
Yeah. This is fascinating stuff here. 1988, WYHY Radio offers $1 million to anyone who can prove Elvis is still alive.
They're sitting on that money.
They're still sitting on that.
Yeah.
$10,000.
In $10,000 bills, right?
Oh, man. A great movie here was released in 2008, The Dark Knight. Released
Love The
today.
Dark Knight.
So
I'm
good.
contemplating watching The Dark Knight with my son.
Yeah.
He saw the 1989 Batman, Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson. Loved it.
Yep.
I don't know. I think The Dark Knight might be a little bit too dark. You know?
Yeah.
He's 9.
I could see
Like,
that.
we're going to watch the sequel. We're going to watch with, Christopher Walken as Max Schreck and Danny DeVito as the Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman.
That one's a little extreme, too.
It
I mean,
is.
it's kind of, that one's kind of.
It is. It gets a little bit darker.
Yeah.
I think 9 is too young for.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know.
He really, really likes Batman.
You and I
love
probably
that.
grew up in an era of like where by 9 years old we were watching whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was no.
Ooh, I'm looking at the clock. We got to move.
Okay. Let's see. Well, you know what? You want to just move on to birthdays?
Yes, absolutely.
What about Gerald Ford today?
Oh, Gerald Ford.
Gerald Ford today, along with Conor McGregor as well today.
Yep, I saw Conor McGregor on that list. Also, born on this day in 1967, a former White Sox third baseman, Robin Ventura. He's most famous for getting his ass whipped by an old man. He charged the mound against Nolan Ryan and just had it coming. And look, every baseball fan out there knows exactly what I'm talking about, and they've seen the video, and they've all said the same thing. Go ahead, old man. Steve Stone was born on this day as well, a longtime broadcaster and former Orioles and White Sox pitcher. Those were two other birthdays from today. And actress Jane Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
Friend of the show. She's been on before.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she had a Christmas album come out. Came on to talk about it.
Nice. As far as deaths go here, Richard McDonald, one of the co-founders of.
I'm sorry, I had one more birthday.
Oh, yeah. What you got?
William Hanna.
Okay.
From Hanna-Barbera.
Hanna-Barbera, yeah. Good stuff.
All right. Deaths?
Richard McDonald, one of the co-founders of McDonald's.
Okay. Well, I got a big one died on this day as well.
What do you have?
Because it's one of those ones where it's borderline between do you do it on this day in history or do you do it on died on this day? On this day in 1881, Billy the Kid was shot and killed.
Oof.
Yup.
Man. National days?
Yeah, go for it.
Shark Awareness Day.
Let's go.
That's what day.
So, okay, I had Mac and Cheese Day.
Okay, I saw that one on there too.
Yeah, and I've got a whole rant about that, but we got to get to Chuck here real quick.
Okay.
I'll save it for another time. I'm sure there's an international Mac and Cheese Day where we can hit that. All right, it's 8:14 to talk 107.3 FM. Quick break. When we come back, we've got the king of college football, Chuck Oliver, next.
This is a 6 or a 0?
6.
Okay.
Talking about 363? Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Chuck. How you doing, sir? This is John with Brian Haldane. All right. Yeah, looking to have you on here in just another minute or so. All right. Thank you, sir.
You know, really want. Jeez, y'all. I can't even get to the stuff on media days because there's so much baseball stuff. $8:16 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. You know how during Mardi Gras season, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday leading up to Mardi Gras is like the most intense when it comes to the parade season? They call it the deep gras. And by the time Mardi Gras Day rolls around, you're worn out. Well, for the college football fan, that's what's going on in Atlanta right now. It's SEC Media Days. LSU will be the first to take the podium. And I had to reach out to the king of college football to give us the full preview. Chuck Oliver, how are you, man?
Oh, nothing but good. We've barely even cut the ribbon on this thing. Already got Clark Lee. He's not supposed to be here till like 3:30 this afternoon. He came by. He's like, how about 7 a.m.? I was like, Coach, I will meet your enthusiasm. Yes, bring coffee. So we've already had Coach Clark Lee on. Diego Pavia is bouncing around right now. As a matter of fact, he's a rock star. So it's wonderful. It's kind of like, it's regular SEC Media Days, which is always great. Plus, we get Vanderbilt this year.
Vanderbilt's last for today, right?
They're the last group through, but they're already bouncing around the College Football Hall of Fame doing interviews and everything. They are soaking in the extra attention.
Why are they getting extra attention? I mean, they got a top-notch quarterback coming back, and like you said, their coach is making some waves. But should we be giving Vandy more attention?
Oh no, we grade on a curve in the SEC. Believe me. They finished 6-6 in the regular season. He's 5 wins, I think, in 4 years at Vanderbilt. That gets a coach fired in the Southeastern Conference. At Vanderbilt last year, party in the stands. I didn't even know black and gold overalls without a shirt underneath was a thing, but apparently it is. They were a fun story. So we get everything we're supposed to have about the SEC, and then we get enough of Vanderbilt. If you can have the back end of the conference be Vanderbilt in 2024, that's the end of the rainbow for Greg Sankey. I mean, he loves it.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking with Chuck Oliver. He is the king of college football. You'll check him out after Moscona Show on 104.5 ESPN here locally. All right, Chuck, walk us through the rest of the day, though. LSU is scheduled to be the first ones at the podium.
Well, the commission's going to kick things off, and then that's one thing about my slide used to do this back in the day, mostly at Hoover, and then, of course, Commissioner Sankey does it as well. If you got a microphone and you want to talk to him, that man will hit you in 4 days. He will. And so he is in the big room, I believe, right now, actually. Our own Heath Klein, who hosts sometimes and is our executive producer, he's over there getting the commissioner. So after that, you're right, Brian Kelly's rolling through with Chris Hilton, which I think is such a wonderful thing. I had so many people, for so long say, hey, man, if he ever stays on the field. And I literally was toeing the line of getting tired of hearing it. And then he showed up for whatever game it was last year and had like 2 downfield catches. I was like, okay, that's Chris Hilton. So he's here. Nussmeyer, Whit Weeks, who just make sure that you got the – do I have a level? Okay, Whit, start talking. So that's going to be LSU. We're going to have Shane Beamer. We've got him confirmed. We're trying to get Lane Kiffin. I know him from way back in the day. And so we have, 50-50 chance with him where that's not really – he doesn't do radios, not Radio Row. And as I said, we already got Clark Lee. So it could be a 4-for-4 day. We're aiming for at least 3.
Okay, that's a solid number to be sure. We're talking with Chuck Oliver, the king of college football. Walk us through a little bit about who the bigger personalities are right now. I mean, I know when it was Nick Saban, everybody looked forward to that, but it's a little bit more of an open field today.
Wow, what a great question. You're so spot on with it. I literally was thinking about that last night, that I'm looking at the schedule each day. And by the way, there's stuff I want to hear from everybody, like Shane Beamer, talk to me. I have questions X, Y, and Z, But it used to be, it's Saban Day at Media Days, or it's Spurrier Day at Media Days. I think the closest we have, honestly, is Eli Drinkwitz will say what's on his mind. He's the Missouri coach. Right. So, honestly, there's only so much he can do to generate interest. And God bless Eli, he does it. And I don't think it's manufactured. I think he really is as chest out as and opinionated as he lets loose. Mm-hmm. But at least he lets loose. But he's the Missouri coach. And so there's only so much. He used to be big-time personality after big-time personality. I was there when Palmer got the subpoena. I was there when he skipped it to avoid the subpoena. So that's what media days used to be, and that was just the coaches. It's not really that same thing. It is a much more homogenized event. That's absolutely true.
Is there a way to break out of that, Chuck? Because I think every football fan, and God knows every media outlet, would want the big headlines, would want the big talking points, misses the days of Johnny Manziel getting loose.
Oh, I agree with you 100% on that, but I think it's also changed. Like we were talking earlier this morning with somebody. I used to do color on college. I did color on Conference USA for 8 years on TV, and it was fine. It was great. It's not possible today. Today we have advanced so much. You need a former quarterback who can talk about the passing game. That's what it is. It's the same sort of thing with media days. I think the expectations of the viewers are so much higher than it used to be. That remember Steve Spurrier saying, we found out he was the only guy who didn't vote for Tim Tebow on his ballot. He was like, oh, I forgot about Tebow. You forgot, really? Like, that was fun to me. We're not going to have that because, again, it is a much more regimented, sort of boiled-down approach. We want information, depth charts, whatever else. And we'll try to force the guys to that as much as we can. It's just a lot more detail. I want to say higher-level thought than it used to be.
Okay, at the same time, though, the hype and everything surrounding it continues to grow here. I mean, the SEC has the largest media days event overall, the most attention paid to it. So it's this weird cross-section of homogenization and hype at the same time.
Yeah, but they've changed it. You're spot on with this, but, like, where am I right now? Have you been to the College Hall of Fame here in Atlanta?
No, I have not.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, I make my living. God bless college football. Literally, I have food in the cabinet because of it. I'll look around this Hall of Fame, and I was on the advisory board before I helped them. I'm like, where's all the stuff? There should be more stuff here. This is a great place to have an event. It is a very efficient event space, and that's how they keep the doors open with proms and wedding receptions, not because people get to see all the stuff. And so we're having a very efficient event here. Hoover with the circus in the lobby. See, that's SEC Media Days with Spurrier and Tuberville and James Franklin insisting, by God, you're going to talk Vanderbilt. I couldn't shake. He was an old penny. I couldn't get rid of him. That's what's fun media days, and the SEC embraced it. Like, that's Miller in cans. This is brown liquor.
Okay. All right. That's a fair trade-off, to be sure. And be careful drinking all of it. We got 4 days going here. Is there a day in particular that you're looking most forward to?
Well, I want to hear from Kirby, and again, that's tomorrow, and that's kind of the closest we have. We have Kirby Day now because he's got 2 natties. But my God, they also get a start tomorrow, and Hugh Freeze. And Hugh Freeze is the one guy in the conference that you can look at. I think the Auburn fan base is spring-loaded. I've been wondering if we can go back 2 months ago. Everything had been, literally every facility, portal, high school, coaching hires, whatever. Everything had been there except the wins for Hugh Freeze. And I've been looking around going, are Auburn fans noticing this? Are we angry? He started having decommitments in high school recruiting. That was it. Over the last 2 months, he's had a few of those. Auburn fans losing their mind. I think Hugh Freeze, that fan base, it is a short fuse. And by the way, they opened Riverside, Baylor. That is not the game that it was when they signed that contract 7 years ago. That is a hornet's nest for Hugh Freeze. It could start off 0-1, and it's going to get hot for him.
Speaking of opening up the season, if I could move you over to LSU football real quick. LSU versus Clemson, your takeaways or your early preview?
It matters where the game is, and on campus for LSU like that. I need every advantage for LSU, and this isn't a neutral site game like USC or Florida State that's on campus, but it's the other one. Clemson could win a national championship. They're a playoff team. They're the kind of team that looks like they could advance. We know all about Clemson, and their defense looks kind of Clemson-ish from 3, 4, 5 years ago. So that's a very, very obviously very dangerous game, and the fact that Brian Kelly seems to be now leaning into it. You know, the candles burning. He's like, I'm gonna hug the wick. This opener is even more important. I'm like, check the box for transparency, coach. Now you better win this thing because he's 0-3 so far. So that's as difficult an opener as anybody has in America this year.
We got Chuck Oliver for just a couple more minutes. I greatly appreciate your time. I know it's a busy morning. Can we broaden out and take a look at the conference as a whole? Who do you expect to be on top when this thing's over with?
Oh, Texas and Georgia are my two assumptions for the playoffs, and I have been rifling through like the next 5 or 6 trying to, because they need 2.
Yeah.
They're supposed to get 4 teams in the playoffs. That's what the SEC is in this 12 thing, I believe, with Tennessee. So they don't need just 1 more; they need 2 more. Bama, A&M, LSU. I walked into my personal conversation about Ole Miss bias because I like Lane Kiffin and Austin Simmons, and like Lane and Steve Sarkisian. Say what you will, anything else about them, they get quarterbacks right every time. So I was biased. I was like, maybe it's the Rebels. No. After the quarterback, I was like, I got to overlook the offensive line. I got to overlook the running backs. I got to overlook the defensive line. I got to really overlook the secondary, especially the corners. There's so much to overlook, and so I eliminated Ole Miss. I don't have an easy time getting to 4, and I wind up including a team like Texas A&M maybe.
That'd be quite the pull for Texas A&M to be sure.
Yeah, they were 8-1 going into November last year, and then it flew sideways off the rails. Elko is kind of deciding to lay hands on the defense himself and heal that thing. If they do, I like what they can do. They can mash you on the ground. They can be, it's 1993, and we're big and huge, and here we come. They can do that, I promise you.
We get just 2 more minutes here. I want to try and squeeze 2 questions into it with Chuck Oliver. The hot seat's always a thing when the SEC Media Days opens up. You mentioned Hugh Freeze a minute ago. Who else would you put in that category to start off the 25 season?
I would have bet Sam Pittman last year, but he not only saved his job, but nobody's really happy about it. That's the weird thing. Like Arkansas fans is like, I think I would have taken the hit with a 5-7. So I'll say Sam Pittman, but I mean, again, a year ago last year, we were talking about which week Billy Napier would be fired. Now I look at Napier and I'm like, well, if Lagway is healthy, they could be a playoff team.
Also true. Very true. Last one before we get you out of here, Chuck, and that is going back to LSU one more time. I know I'm kind of rapid fire all over the place, but I want to get as much as I can out of you while I got you. All right. Last one, the outsider's perspective on LSU. I mean, we hear from it within Baton Rouge all the time, but you have a broader view of the whole nation of college football. LSU's strength and weakness. Go.
LSU's strength, Garrett Nussmeier's right arm. LSU's weakness, potentially the offensive line. Again, and that's as tied together as anything. Garrett Nussmeier, we saw what happened when it started to crack a little bit in November for them. He started getting hit, and et cetera. I don't know what he is as a Sunday guy. I don't care about that. I think Garrett Nussmeier, he can pass LSU into the playoffs. It would be better if he didn't have it.
He is Chuck Oliver, talks college football literally every day of the year. By the way, on that LSU weakness part, Moscona's going to tell you it's a defensive back, so be ready for that conversation.
Sure, absolutely. We're going to have Matt on a little later. You're going to get extra Moscona on there today.
Awesome. Always love talking to you, Chuck. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. It's 8:29 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. I had to make the most of getting as much as I could squeezed in there because that's a guy whose time is called for to start SEC Media Days. It's what he does. We got just a minute till we got exactly a minute. Enough time for me to tell you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. Landmark Bank started in 1897 as a community bank. And in 2025, they are, believe it or not, a community bank. Sticking to their mission, sticking to tradition, sticking to the idea that you don't just need a bank, you need a banker. Wherever you are in the surrounding area around Baton Rouge, go to landmarkbankla.com, hit the About tab. You'll find the locations there. You'll find the one nearest to you. You'll find the one who can help you out with your personal banking, whether you're talking about checking, savings, borrowing, your business banking, whether you're talking about checking, savings, borrowing. They've got all the fintech you need, and on top of all that, someone you shake hands with, someone who is your banker. LandmarkBankLA.com. Oh, Chuck's awesome. one on the road with me when we take the fam on we're doing an RV trip later this month. So, a little 4-day weekend, but it's enough time for me to knock out a book. So. Okay. Yeah. Right here. We're probably gonna slow down a little bit for this conversation because you've got a story to tell. That last interview was super fast, quick hit. Right. Will Green comes on every week, so he was we have a good rapport back and forth. But no, this is gonna. I want you just to dig in and tell your story. So, I was able to read a little bit of what you sent. I'm terrible with books online. I don't know why. When I can turn pages, I can go faster. But when I'm scrolling down, I have to scroll back up again and read things a second or third time. Yeah. Well, so what I like best about your book, well, I should say, because the content is what I like best, but the breakdown of it is so quick. Like every page is its own entry. Basically, you're not. It's right. Well, and that's where it's like if I pick up and I read 2 pages, it's like I'm not picking up a book and saying how long is this chapter. 18 pages. I don't have that kind of time. I can keep moving. Yes.
Right. I get it. But it's about faith. It's about family. It's about a transition from my 33-year law enforcement career. You know, find humanity and these small towns, the people I met. I was an unusual hiker. Started at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Hike long days. So I'd say that people chose to hike with me versus me. But I had like 5 people that did, and it felt like you spent an exorbitant amount of time when it was only a week, 3 days, but shared experiences. You know, it's people I still keep up with today,
which is so cool. That's part of the stories that you never get to hear. Yeah, is the story after the story.
And I wrote it for posterity's sake. My grandkids, you know, I retired early. When I started law enforcement, I couldn't buy my own bullets. My dad had to buy them. I was too young until I found a place that would actually sell them for me. You know, sell them to me.
Oh, there's the map.
Yeah, I put an inset of maps, so you gives the reader a perspective of where you are. But the euphoria and excitement burns off really quick. You know. Okay. You know, first week or two. You know, and then you get to a hostel to take refuge from weather or whatever, and then you get there's maps in these hostels, and the map of the Appalachian Trail is 4 feet long. And so you're looking at it, and you go down. That'll teach you not to look at another map because it's pretty demoralizing. Because you walk for 3 weeks and you're on the bottom of the map. You know?
Right.
So, and you know, I wrote in there that my trail names are a thing because you may not remember Duane when you get to Maine, New Hampshire, but you'll remember Tank or Hot Britches or something like that.
Okay.
But I adopted the trail name Tank. I was named that by my godfather, and he and my dad were the only two. Because when I was a couple feet tall, I was very big. So he and my godfather, my dad, and my godfather, the only two who still referred to me as Tank. They were failing in health. They're both deceased now. Okay. They were failing in health, so I kind of adopted that. But I talk about my why in there. I had a couple of administrative assistants that died. One of them came, you know, brain cancer, came to say goodbye and essentially collect some personal things, you know. And we hugged, and she says, remember me when you're on that trail. I said, I'll do better than that. I'll carry you on that trail. Kind of, you know, spiritually.
Yeah.
And when I summited the northern terminus of Mount Katahdin, I held a little plaque, a little thing that said, "We made it, Gwen," and "We made it, Kathy," and sent it to their families. It was rewarding.
Very nice.
Yeah. But the weather and my longest day was 33.3 miles. My sweet spot was 22, 25.
Okay.
But that depends on the terrain, your mental, your mental outlook, so forth.
Oh, I'm sorry. Completely forgot to mention. We're always on Facebook Live.
Okay.
So
yeah, I've been listening to you the last few days.
we don't, when we go to break, we don't go to break. So
Okay.
I'm usually better about reminding somebody before they're even on. So yeah, we'll start off with talking about the accomplishment of it, and then revert back to your why.
Okay.
Then we can walk through all the inspirational story after that. And I do want to, towards the back end, did you run into anything hauntings? The Appalachian Trail is often associated with
haunting.
You don't know what's coming out of the woods.
Right.
So
right, no hauntings.
Okay.
A few scary stories.
Well, I bet there's the normal is paranormal. So 8:38 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right. Gosh, I guess about 2 weeks ago or so, Condon hits me up in the hallway. He says, "B, I got this guy." He tells me the whole story. He says, "I got this guy who wrote a book. He walked the Appalachian Trail, and he's local." I was like, "Okay, I got to know about it." So Richard connects me with Duane Shexnayder, who is the author of the book, One Foot in Front of the Other. And yes, he did walk the entire Appalachian Trail. And today, he's here in studio with us. Duane, welcome aboard. How are you, man?
I'm well. Thank you, Brian. Thanks for having me.
No, glad to have you on here. I'm so glad Condon put us together here because you've got a fantastic story to tell. I want to break this down into pieces, and I want to start with, before we get to the why, let's do the what. You walked the entire thing?
Yes, I did.
Miles, start point, end point, give it to us.
2,200 miles. Began my journey on March the 11th of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Prepared for 6 months mentally, because not knowing.
Yeah.
Did it in right at 5 months. 14 states, from Georgia to Maine.
Okay, we got to break this down, because the number of people who are sitting in traffic right now saying, "I can't get 10,000 steps on my Apple Watch in a day," like that. The mileage here, just the sheer thought of this is ridiculous. You said mental preparation, but there's physical preparation too.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm fortunate enough to live on the banks of the Mississippi River, so I use the levee system to train.
Okay.
I could train or try to mimic the grade, but what I couldn't mimic was the elevation.
Yeah.
So it took a couple weeks to get my head, lungs, and heart all in rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
But once I did, it was incredible.
Well, you started at the top and work your way down, or the other way around?
No, I was what's referred to as a NOBO, a northbounder.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, I would imagine the elevation would go up along the way.
It does. The trail's very easy to figure out, because if you just get up on one of those mountaintops and look for the next highest mountain, you may be walking southwest, but that's where you're going to pretty much be routed.
It's not a straight shot.
No,
that's
sir,
a big part of this. It's not a straight shot.
It isn't.
Let's pause on the what and move over to the why, because when you talk about that amount of mileage, that amount of time, that sort of thing is not just something you wake up one day and decide to do. What made you wake up one day and decide this is where I want to go?
It was over a course of time. My brother-in-law, Cliff, who was also a Appalachian Trail through hiker, proposed it back in the early 2000s. And he said, "Hey, let's walk the trail together." And I thought, and the more, I said, "You've lost your mind."
Yeah.
The more research I did, the more I got bit. And a veteran of a 33-year law enforcement career, I was looking to transition to a simpler way of life, less demands, less headaches, less responsibility, so to speak.
When you started down this path, and you said, I believe it was 2003 when it was first pitched?
Right, correct.
That from that point until when you did it, what were the deciding factors here? How did you evolve towards it?
Well, it's I used it as a refuge from the challenges of my professional life to do research and just distract my mind. Always been fit. I've always led by example, both in leadership and fitness, and I thought this would just be a great tool, so to speak. And I've always enjoyed challenges, always.
And this, well, I mean, it had to coincide with retirement from law enforcement because you just don't free up that much time.
It was the right time. My kids were all very successful and on their own. I had a couple grandkids at the time, and it was a perfect window, so to speak.
We're talking with Duane Shexnayder. He's the author of One Foot in Front of the Other. Excuse me. We're talking with Duane Tank Shexnayder. One Foot in Front of the Other. Where's Tank come from?
Tank was a childhood nickname. It was given to me by my godfather. Kind of did the trail in honor and memory of he and my father. Pretty much the only two that still referred to me as Tank. When I was small, I was pretty bulky.
Okay.
Chunky.
Okay.
And so yeah, there the nickname came, and I embraced it, and I kind of walked in their honor. Neither of them are with us anymore.
Walk me through a few of the other people that you carried with you. You and I were talking during the break here. You did carry a number of people with you.
Yes. I had a couple of administrative assistants that I lost along the way, and one in particular. One was Gwen Heath, the other was Kathy Alello, and Kathy returned to basically say goodbye and collect a few personal items. And if you the later it got, if you stood still long enough, I'd tell you about the trail. Anyway, Kathy hugged me. We embraced goodbye, and it was it. It was going to be the last time. And she says, carry me on, or think about me on that trail. And I looked at her in the eyes, and we both welled up. And I said, I'll do better than that. I'll carry you on that trail. And the more wise, the more meaning you have, the better of a spiritual event, spiritual within it tends to be. Because the euphoria of the trip wears off really quickly.
Oh, well, I would imagine so. Things like, just cramping up in the legs or whatnot, or, waking up a few days in and you're like, yeah, this is not my normal beat. It would start to diminish that drive right there, and the relationships that you're carrying with you, not just the personal relationships, but the relationships with above as well. Talk to me about the spiritual end of this and your connection on that front.
Well, I'm a cradle Catholic, and I've always embraced my faith. But there's times that it's just you, God, in that mountaintop. Right. And along comes a thunderstorm, a hailstorm, freezing temperatures. You haven't lived until you slept in a thin wall, single wall tent, and it's 15 degrees in the morning. And it rained the day before, so there's only one way to warm up. That's put your boots on, crack the ice, and start walking.
And get moving. Absolutely.
And get moving. Now,
normally, and I'm going to keep it on the religious end here, normally when Catholics get on a walk like this, it's on a pilgrimage. It's a path that somebody else has walked, somebody saintly has walked, or something to that effect. Why the Appalachian Trail?
Challenge.
Okay.
It's a very challenging, difficult trail. It's world renowned. I hiked with some incredible people from Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, Spain, France, you name it.
When you say you walk with these people, they're not all on board for the full thing here. It's a lot of pick up and drop off.
There is. There's roughly 1,500 to 2,000, if my memory serves me correctly, people that start out. And it's like a road race. You start, there's a lot of people around you.
Yeah.
And then people either outrun you or you outrun them. There's times on the trail, though, that, I didn't see anyone for 3 days.
Wow.
And
what's that like?
Peaceful.
I bet.
Peaceful. I started out, not caring to talk to anyone, but everyone needs company. And eventually I found a few like-minded souls. Hiked away from some people, but found a few like-minded souls that hiked with me. And it's incredible relationships that I still keep in touch and we share today.
That's amazing. Because it's such a raw and real way to meet somebody. because you talk about like-minded souls. There's something very like-minded in taking on this task to begin with.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a good starting point for a relationship, to be sure.
Absolutely.
And then being, in the trenches of doing it, takes it to that next level of connectivity. Oh, speaking of connectivity, by the way, we're talking with Duane Tank Shexnayder. He's the author of One Foot in Front of the Other. It's an Appalachian Trail journey. Duane walked the whole damn thing. It's an amazing story. Speaking of connectivity, 5 months along the way, what kind of connectivity do you have with anything on the outside world?
Well, the cell service is very spotty.
I would imagine charging would be spotty.
It is. You keep your phone on airplane mode.
Mm-hmm.
Use it as a camera. Use it as a navigational app called Far Out that you can use when you get lost or off the trail.
Okay.
Which I did a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you land in town somewhere, it runs adjacent or in close proximity, sometimes through the main street of some towns. So you resupply, you shower, do trail maintenance on your equipment and so forth. And that's when you take time to reconnect with the people that matter most to you. Let them know, hey, I'm alive.
Yeah. Give just an example or just an overview of like how far you would go without making contact with any of your loved ones.
My wife will remind you. It was 7 days, I believe, at one time.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
well, that's significant.
She left me. I was trying to recover from an upper respiratory infection and a virus. And
during this?
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Yes. And so she left me. She offered to rearrange her flights, and I said, no, that's I'm good.
Uh-huh.
So I hiked. I got myself together the next morning, and I walked 10 or 11 miles over a mountain to a hostel where I was going to convalesce there for another few days. Had bad weather coming in, and there was no Wi-Fi, no connectivity there.
Oh, goodness.
After that, walked through some really rough weather, gale force winds, trees falling, and of course she's seen this on the national news.
Yeah.
So she's concerned. Married for 39 years now, and so I'm a marriage survivor also.
We got just a couple minutes left here with Duane Shexnayder. I neglected to ask it one of the most important questions. You get the inkling in 2003. Give me the start date and the end date of your walk.
March 11th, 2019. I set out, took a train to Georgia, so I could travel with my fuel and so forth.
Right.
And it was part of the slow down pace. And then I summited Mount Katahdin on August 1st of that year.
Okay.
Yes.
So March to August of 2019,
yes,
roughly.
Sir.
We've got I'm below at the outside end. Can you stick around till 9?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna keep you for a couple more minutes. We've got a 4-minute segment on the back end.
Absolutely.
But there's so much more that we haven't gotten to yet. Duane Shexnayder's in with us. The book is called One Foot in Front of the Other. Admittedly, I'm not done with it yet, but I'm so hooked on this story and walking the Appalachian Trail or hiking the Appalachian Trail. We will continue with Duane in just a minute. Before we get you to your money now, I want to remind you about Louisiana Business Weekly. The Louisiana Business Weekly podcast is your source for the latest in Louisiana's business landscape. I'm the host, but it's definitely not my show. These are business leaders telling their stories, and it's proudly presented by Currency Bank, the bank for your business owner. The weekly show dives into the trends, stories, and voices shaping the state's economy. Listen and subscribe on your favorite platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. You can also catch every episode at talk1073.com. All right, quick break. We got your money now. We'll check traffic. We will continue next with Duane Shexnayder talking about one foot in front of the other. All right, and we'll stay on Facebook while we're in during the break.
Gotcha.
Sorry, that was enough for me to squeeze in the promo, but not to get to the next question.
No, gotcha.
And I want to talk about if we could squeeze in all three. The dichotomy of being in the middle of nowhere versus walking out into civilization. Like, is that relief? Is it refuge? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about once it's over with, how do you close that chapter? Like, does that, emotionally, I would imagine you wake up one day and say, I don't have to hike 30 miles.
There's a relief that you're done with the journey, but there's also a reintegration into society.
That's where I'm going. Yeah.
There's a lot of things that happen when you were gone, family weddings and, news events and, you almost feel like a misfit. So if you want to know how much noise is in your life,
yeah,
put a backpack on and leave for 5 months. And
Yeah.
live out of it. Live in a tent, and yeah, that's real. That's very real.
Well, chat's been quiet for the last couple. Renee asks, is anyone else having choppy audio? Not that I know of. Have you heard anything? Did you check when? Okay. Where's this picture come from?
McAfee Knob in Virginia.
First of all, no, not getting that far out.
You become one with the mountains. You really do.
Yeah, I'm become one with what's underneath the mountain. I'm not, because it's not about where you're standing. It's about the fact that there's nothing underneath what you're standing on.
There are places on that trail, several places that you fall, you be badly broken.
Yeah.
One way, you
Or-
fall the other way, they may not find you. And there's
Okay.
several people that have.
Oh,
just
I'm
gone
sure.
missing, you know.
I'm sure, but it's a gorgeous photo, y'all. It's John. I can do it.
Probably.
Thank you, Rich. Good stuff. There's no way we're getting all this in. There's just no way. It's
You talked about a podcast.
yeah. It's on pause right now until I can find the time in the day. Probably when school lets back in, I'll have more time. But it's a podcast called Cool Story, Bro. And we'll basically go through the entire book at that point.
Okay.
But it's a podcast that is intended for people with just great stories to tell. And like this is definitely fits that mold. It's like if someone can replicate, if you could bottle greatness in a moment, if you can, what messages can we take away from someone who's done something
Gotcha.
that is
Gotcha.
that has a story to share, a story to tell. So, but yeah, I had to put them. Bills have to get paid, and I have another podcast called the one I just promoted, Louisiana Business Weekly.
Mhm.
Sponsor, so
I get it.
The Cool Story, Bro, is more just my, I don't want to say passion project, but it's what I do for fun. It's where I lean for inspiration.
I get it.
So
I get it.
yeah, I did about a 10 episode or 12 episode run, and kind of got the bug for it, and really worked out the kinks of where I wanted the thing to go,
Mhm.
because it was just an ambiguous idea to start off with, and once it got all refined and everything, I got derailed, and the show comes first. The on-air show comes
Absolutely.
first, and then once Louisiana Business Weekly took off, which numbers wise, listeners wise, it was huge by comparison. So
Nice.
Yep. Got to feed what feeds me.
That's right. Absolutely.
So
Yeah, I left early coming from Vacherie, St. James Parish, so
okay.
that's an adventure in itself.
Oh, Condon's wife is from Vacherie, if
Yes.
I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Yeah,
Sue.
Sue. All right. Right back into it. Can't waste a moment here. We got just a couple minutes left with Duane Shexnayder, the author of One Foot in Front of the Other. Duane, I got so much more to cover with you here. You mentioned, you come down a mountain, you come across like Main Street of a town along the way. What's that like to just walk into civilization from just absolute silence?
At some point, the noise becomes overwhelming. Interstates or traffic,
Yeah.
or, you get so used to being out in the wild, and it's such a solace, enjoyable experience.
Were there any times along the way where it wasn't a solace, enjoyable experience? Like there's two different avenues I want to go here. The first is the wildlife. Did you run into anything, mountain lions, whatever?
Well, there's no mountain lions that I know of on the trail, but bears and black bears, and there were several get your attention moments out there that make you reach within.
So there were actual sightings?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Several.
I would be
Snakes
remiss if I didn't ask. The Appalachian Trail is known for the supernatural as well. Any ghosts?
Not that I experienced.
Okay. No, that's good to hear. It's because it's all over social media.
Right.
It's you can't go too far on social media without seeing the ghost stories and the paranormal and whatnot.
Sure.
I want to talk about reintegration back into society. And I know that sounds like such an overreach of a topic, but you're 5 months away. You're 5 months out of it. What's it like to get back into, step back into the world that is social media, the world that is the 24-hour news cycle, the world where, literally everything on TV is breaking? To go from that absolute quiet to that absolute, fever pitch.
It's an incredible contrast. And I trained for a lot of things, mentally and physically, but that's one thing I did not prepare for. And if you want to understand or get to know the minutiae and noise in your life, put a backpack on and leave for 5 months and walk through the woods. So there were family events that took place. There were news events that took place. The only real TV that I watched were weather segments when I'm in town.
Sure.
To get a fix on the next few days, 3-5 days, or whatever I intended to hike.
When it came to getting news from loved ones and whatnot, did you let everyone know ahead of time? I just want to let you know I'm okay. Don't tell me anything.
No, well, my wife and I, she's plugged in, and we talked about current events, mostly family going on.
Okay. I didn't know if you'd want to know if you missed something, you missed Jenny's wedding. Did you want to know that sort of thing?
No, I prepared to unplug, so to speak.
We got 1 minute left with Duane Shexnayder, the author of One Foot in Front of the Other. My last question for you: are you done with hiking?
Long distance, I think I am.
Okay.
My body, it takes a toll on you. I lost 26 pounds on this trek.
Bro.
My shoe size is a one size longer.
Really?
I left at a 10 and came back as an 11. Your arch is flat. You carrying that weight on those mountains. And when you stand at the bottom of a mountain in Georgia, North Carolina, and look up and there's no switchback, that's what I call get your mind right.
The book is called One Foot in Front of the Other, an absolute amazing story, an amazing series of stories. He is author Duane "Tank" Shexnayder. Thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you.
We got to get out of here. We're back at it tomorrow. See y'all then. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, my point would be, it's an easy read. You pick it up, put it down.
It is an easy read. We'll see y'all later, y'all. See you Facebook. Yeah.